Hello YouTube world, I'm back and I'm just breaking from my current series at the moment of Badlands. I have got to get a collection of paintings together for an exhibition in November and I want them all to be the same theme. So I'm just going to do a seascape because I'm waiting for some more deco art paint to come. So I'm going to show you how I do a seascape. Now I did this seascape a little while ago and I was really pleased with it. It was a huge canvas. And I'm going to do the same thing but on a much smaller scale. My colours, if you can see here, are all leftover paints. The basis of which is probably cerulean blue. That's got silver in it and a little bit of orange. This looks like sky blue light. That's got a little bit of orange in it. That's sky blue light too with white, and that's silver. And I've got some satin enamel, titanium white satin enamel here. So I like to do puddle pours for skies. Just really like doing them. And my paint is quite fluid. That's why I'm doing a puddle pour. So if I was doing a flip cup, my paints would be thicker. Okay, so I've masked off the canvas here. In here, I have got some vinyl silk emulsion with my normal pouring medium to a quite a thin consistency. And I'm just going to put a base down for the sky. Now, you don't have to put a base down, but I find that I use less colour if I do. And a sky graduates from dark to light. And very often I'm looking out the window. There's a lot of white towards the horizon. Now, to get this going, normally I speed this bit up. And I always spend quite a long time, really, when I say a long time, I take my time doing my base because I feel as if it's the start of the painting, and if this bit is a mess, the rest of the painting might be a mess. So I just coat the canvas quite thinly, and I spread it with a palette knife initially just to make the paint go further. So don't forget to give your background a really good torch. Can you see all those air bubbles? They need to go. Because if you don't torch your air bubbles, what will happen when the painting's dry, you'll get these little craters all over your painting, and that's not good. So I'm going to start off with my darkest colour at the top, and I'm going to just pour a puddle. Just pour a puddle, maybe a bit more down here. I'm always just quite random. I like being free with I'm just talking nonsense. I'm just going to swipe in a couple of places with the satin enamels. That blue was really too dark up there. So I've just got my kitchen roll cut to my point. This is my favourite swiping tool of choice. So there we have a really simple sky. Let's just check, see if there's paint going to come off. Just a little bit more. So just swapping to voiceover because I couldn't just leave it there. I had to fiddle, and to some extent I wish I never did, but there you go. Excuse me. I have a stick in my hand and I'm just dipping it in some satin enamels and just creating some clouds because I was too impatient to wait to see what was going to happen with what I had done. It's me all over. I'm just too impatient. So it's your painting, you know, if you're not happy with what you see, change it, keep going. I think the key is really knowing when to stop, really knowing that what you see is something that you are happy with. And that's the key for any artist, isn't it? So just dragging the stick through. Look, you can't quite see because of the lighting actually, but just breaking those harsh lines up a little. I'm going to leave that for a couple of days and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the sea. Okay, this is quite a few days later. You can see you've got nice fluffy sky. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the masking tape. Now colours, let's talk about sea colours. Obviously, you need to pay attention to, if you're following a photograph, you know, you need to pay attention to where you have your darkest darks. And with a seascape, it's slightly backward to what you would normally think. Normally you have the darkest, the brightest colours in the foreground, and as you go back, your colours become desaturated. But actually, in a seascape, if you look at the horizon, the darkest water is along the horizon line. So I am starting off with this colour. These are all mixes. I know that one is Aqua Flash. And I know that one is a mix of Aqua Flash and this dark blue. But these, I'm not sure. But hopefully these will blend in with the sky. Now, I'm using a split cup, 4 split cup here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, number one, it keeps the paint separate. Keeps the colours separate. And it won't blend too much. Now, think about what hand you're going to pour with. If you're left-handed or you're right-handed, and the direction you're pouring in. So I am pouring with my right hand from left to right. So my darkest colour is going in here, the end one. My next darkest colour is this one. Then my Aqua Flash, I love using this in seascapes because it just gives that translucent look. I'll put this one in here actually. A bit in there. Didn't realise I had 5 colours. I'm not starting again. Until they both come out. It doesn't look too pretty, does it? But I think I've said before that it doesn't really matter because I'm tilting the life out of this. And I'm simply going to go left to right. And down. Okay, right. At the moment that looks awful. So what I'm going to do, give it another quick torch. Oh, lots of bubbles appearing. So I'm going to even this out now. Try and get a nice composition. So I still want that horizon line a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go along . Like that. I'm going to blend that in later. Actually, I'm going to do it now. This is where you can get really creative. There's no rules. I'm not creating a pour where I want pretty patterns. I'm using fluid art techniques to create water effects. So I have a big corner here and I have a big corner here, so I'm just going to take care of those. So when you're doing your sides, I've seen a lot of people that come along, they'll dab it on and they'll, you know, they'll run their finger along, which is fine if you're just doing a plain colour or a base, but I like to see the lines, the composition go down the side of the canvas. So I pick my paint up on the spoon and I just let it pour down. I don't dab because that just looks awful. That way your sides will look just as nice as the top. Now, doesn't look very exciting at the moment, does it? We want to create some waves. Now I can do this with my, just blend things in just slightly with my stick. Bring that blue down a little bit. I'm not really doing any more than that. So what I'm going to do now, my satin enamel mix here, which is titanium white with equal parts of satin enamels mixed with my normal pouring medium. I'm going to take my stick, use the other end, and I'm just going to pour some satin enamels across there. And then I'm going to choose an area to put some waves on. So the foreground will be much more prominent. Let's just do that again. I went the wrong way. So wave, I put my stick in and I go up, drag it along. Doesn't have to be straight. And give me some nice white surf. Now as we go into the distance, then what you'll have is just some smaller waves. Let's blend those in a little bit more. That's better. See, the trick is knowing when to stop, and do you know what I never do? Do you see, as you drag the stick up, you get that translucent, when that's dry, that you get that translucent effect that you get when you look through waves. Okay, so I'm back with the dried results. There's still a lot to do on this painting, so I'm going to jump straight into a few tips and tricks to finish this painting off. So stick with me. So what we're going to do with this, I want my mask, I want my horizon line to come back because I masked it off when I did the sky, but I went over that line when I poured the base. I normally go over a little bit, but not by that much. So I've got some frog tape and I am going to mask that off again in exactly the same place, I hope. Now, I'm just going to get the heel of my brush and I'm just literally going to really make sure that's really stuck down really well. Now in the sky, I mentioned that it's always darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. So I've got a little bit of leeway with this. Now, I've got a really nice soft brush here, wide brush. This is by Pan Art. Love this little brush. I've got some golden titanium white. There is a big difference between these two. I use this for acrylic painting with a brush. I use this for acrylic pouring. So really, I'm not saying go out and buy a tub of this, but a good quality titanium white is a must. Now this is going to need a couple of coats, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some golden glazing liquid. Now this is just something that I'm using instead of water to loosen the paint up and also give me a slower drying time. I can use it like water. Hope you can see. I can use it like water and just mix it into the paint. And I'm not going to be shy about this. I'm going to blend it in. Now, it is going to need a couple of coats. So there's one. I'm going to let that dry. Okay, this has had 2 coats now. I'm going to take the tape off the back carefully and see what's happened. Beautiful straight line. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to darken this horizon line in and play around with these waves. Okay, I've had to stop and start this video so many times. I'm a little bit lost. People keep walking in and out when I'm trying to film. So I'm just going to make some dark blue for the horizon here. I've just masked off that bit again. And I'm just literally going to do it by eye. I'm going to take some indigo and I'm going to take some Prussian blue and see which one works the best. I'm going to desaturate the colour with some orange, and you just literally need a couple of drops on the side. And mix it in. Now this isn't such a heavy bodied paint, you can tell the difference straight away. It is quite fluid. And I'm going to do the same for this one. So mixing paint by eye takes practice. It just does. I'm not going to go in with the same thick brush. I'm just going to use this brush here. Just going to dampen it slightly. And I can see, compared to the golden titanium white that just needed literally 2 coats, this is hardly covered. So this is going to need thicker paint. I'm going to leave that to dry and come back again. I have a small angled brush here. These are really good for getting into corners. Now, little trick. It's just underneath your waves. I want to create some darkness. It's a good idea to use a transparent paint for this actually. This is, well, the indigo is semi-transparent, so it'd be a good place to start, this one here. And I'm just literally going to create a bit of darkness. Now, the more you go over a wet area, well, you get what's called lift off. So you need to let that dry to go over again. It's the same with this area here. Here, you'll get lift off if you keep going back over the same areas. So you don't really want to do that. Just while I'm here, another little tip. It's really important to keep brushes clean, and I'm trying to make a concerted effort because I bought new brushes to keep brushes clean, and sometimes just washing them in cold or warm water just doesn't do it. This stuff here is fantastic. The Masters brush cleaner. I'll put the link down in Amazon. And it's like soap for brushes, and it will keep your brushes really soft, and it will take all of the paint out of your brush. You need to just wash in warm soapy water, and that'd be good to go. Okay, so it's had a couple of layers. It's darker in certain areas. I'm going to take the masking tape off. Get my trusted old brush, which has got glue on it. It's bent, but it's brilliant for things like that. Actually, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use slightly more fluid. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to dab it in the white and then dab it on paper, just to take most of the paint off. Now, I'm going to add some spray. Generally speaking, your spray's on top of the wave and a little bit underneath. I'm not going to go mad. I always say that and I always end up going mad. So more towards the foreground than the background. So when you're doing things like this, always change the angle of your brush so you get that splash look. Okay, I think that will do. A very, very, well, I think it's simple seascape. Maybe it does need something else, but I'm in no rush. Have a go. Thanks for watching.